Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me on this week's Q&A. If you've interacted with any of the videos this week or you've watched anything, I really appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Now, if you're new to the Q&A, the idea is simple. I'm going to go through all of these questions that you've asked. I typically film this on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's currently Tuesday in the afternoon. So you want to make sure you get your questions in by sort of Monday at the latest. If I miss your question, I'm very sorry. It can happen sometimes, especially if there's lots of questions. If I do miss your question, I will get back to, just leave it down below on this video and I'll get to it next week, I promise. And you're getting my raw and filtered opinions. I don't read the questions beforehand and make notes. I literally sit down and take them one at a time. Now, sometimes questions, I think that I can't answer them in a very short period of time and I have to make a longer video about it. That's what I'll do. I'll do a longer video at some point down the line. But with that all being said, it's time to have a look at them. So without further ado, we're going to get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Jan Vollerberg, who says, I really like the creative process series. Are you going to make more episodes? Yes, the last couple of weeks I've been very busy and I've had a lot to deal with, to be perfectly honest. So I haven't had time to do one. That's all it is. The thing about the creative process is, or anything to do with creativity, is your head has got to be in the right place. And honestly, we were going to be filming a creative process last week, but my head wasn't straight, in all honesty. And the thing with the creative process videos is they are off the cuff. It's not like they're planned ahead of time. We literally just pull a couple of things out of a bowl and I give myself like an hour to create a trick. And I turned around to Michael and I said, I'm not in the right headspace to be able to do this. It's just not going to be entertaining and it's probably going to be an abject failure. So we've put it off, but hopefully maybe next week I'll be able to get back to it. Yeah, so they are coming back. It's just I've been a bit busy and my head's been elsewhere the last couple of weeks, but I will be getting back to them, I promise. Okay, so the next question is from Archie Cox Magic, who says, what's the best way to store a close-up pad to make sure it stays nice for when I'm practicing Magic? Well, it depends on what you're doing with the close-up pad. I mean, if you are practicing with it, if it's a close-up pad for practice, just put it somewhere safe. Like I have a close-up pad in my house that I practice Magic on, and I just make sure that I don't put a cup of coffee on it or anything. It's there specifically to practice Magic. If you are taking it to gigs or something, it's up to you. I mean, you can obviously keep it nice and safe. If it's a rolled up one, it's easier to keep nice and safe. You can get a little tube to put in it. If it's a hardback one, like the sort that I use here on Magic TV, you might want to get some sort of carrying case for it, because it's like any prop. If you're taking it back and forth to gigs over and over again, it's going to get wrecked over a period of time. So you want to kind of have a carrying case to keep it nice and safe. But if it's something you're just having in your house to practice with, I don't think you have to worry too much about it. Just make sure that you keep it out of the way of food. Don't go eating KFC and have your pad in front of you. That's probably not a good idea. Okay, so the next question is from Andrew Wiggin, who says, hi Craig, hope you're well. I was thinking about magicians who don't do tricks. I'm talking about stuff like Lennart Green, who actually does a ton of magic, but they don't come out and do a trick and then follow it with another trick. Instead, they just sit down and start the stuff and magic happens. I thought it'd be cool if you could do a 5x5 on magicians like this, or at least talk about them in a little bit and share your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, definitely, this is probably one for a longer video. I think I know what you mean. But I mean, you look at Lennart Green, for example, he is doing a series of tricks. But what he's effectively doing is he's effectively transitioning from one to the other so seamlessly that you can't tell where one trick ends and another trick starts. And that is what you do when you develop an act. When you develop an act, you want to make sure that it flows theatrically and there's highs and lows and ups and downs, and you think about the transition from one trick to another. So instead of saying, hey, right, okay, well, that's the card trick done. Now I'm going to take out 4 coins. Now let me do the coin trick. Now I'm going to put those away. Now I'm going to show you a trick with a sponge ball. Rather than doing that, it might be a case of you've done a 4-ace production, and then boom, you pull the 4 aces back and you've got 4 coins. Now you go into a matrix. At the end of the matrix, the 4 4 coins, and the 4 cards become crystal clear. And you take one of those clear cards and you throw it up in the air, and it turns into a clear dollar bill, which you open up and it turns into a real dollar bill. You then fold that up and it turns with some origami, and it turns into a ring. You put your finger through the origami ring, it turns into a real ring. You look into the ring and you pull out a string, and now you go into ring and string. And it's that whole concept of not knowing where one trick ends and the other trick begins, because you're effectively transitioning seamlessly from one to the other. That's what Leonard Green's doing in essence. You know, he's built an act, and he's thought about how to go from, he's got a beginning, he's got an end, and he's thought about how to actually go from each section into the next section, into the next section. So, but we can do a video on this. We'll do a longer video on this, absolutely. But it's a great question. Okay, so the next question is from Stuart Etheridge, who says, "Hi, Craig, hope you're well. Awesome video as always." Thank you, Stuart. You're amazing. Stuart, by the way, is fantastic. He's awesome. As you know, I'm just a keen amateur, and I'm putting together my first proper set for an important dinner party. I'm trying to avoid it being all card tricks. I want to mix things up with some mentalism, and I already intend to include Evoke. Thank you so much. My question really is about personalization. I want each of the 6 of the main people to be able to take away something to remember the evening. Obviously, the person at the center of the signed card routine I have planned will have the signed card, but what other suggestions do you have for takeaway souvenirs? That's a great question, actually. That would make a great video, like the 10 best souvenirs to give away to spectators at gigs. And it would probably need a little bit of thought on my part. But off the top of my head, stuff that I know works really well as a souvenir is if you borrow a coin and you do like a coin bend. That's an impossible object that you can give to a spectator. Likewise, if you're doing like a fork bend, like liquid metal, and you bend the fork and give it them as a souvenir, that's a fantastic souvenir as well. I've always thought that a fantastic trick that you can use as a giveaway item is the Frog Prince by Michael Close. If you don't know the Frog Prince, it's an incredible routine. And it's got a really interesting story, and there's some very strong magic. But you end up with this origami frog made out of a playing card. And every time I've done that, you know, it's insane. It's really great. So having something like that is great. Anytime that you take a card, I mean, I know you've talked about a signed card, which is perfect, but anytime you can take a playing card and you can magically alter it and then give it back to them, is a great souvenir. So a couple of examples of that is the one by Matthew Underhill in World Magic Shop, which is now part of the World Magic Shop Gaff deck series, where you literally pull the heart from one end of the card to the other. That's a great giveaway. Likewise, the new trick by Penguin Magic and Nicholas Lawrence called Anniversary Hearts. That's a great giveaway as well, because you're taking the heart from the king and putting it onto the queen, and then you're fusing the king and the queen together into a double-faced card. A double-faced card is a perfect souvenir as well. The original Anniversary Waltz is great. Or, you know, you're on the Netrix, obviously. You could do my Easy Waltzer routine, which is on the Netrix, where you end up with a card that's been signed on the front and it's been signed on the back. That's a fantastic giveaway. And with that, you don't need any special cards or any special gaffs. You've got that impossible... what's it called? Hyperbentation or something like that? I can't remember. That impossible object that you can make out of a playing card. Daryl brought it out. That's a really interesting giveaway as well. So anytime that you can kind of alter a playing card and then give that card away as a souvenir. Magic Button is a great example. My Magic Button. Inverto by Liam Lebanon. All of these style of routines where they end up with a magically transformed playing card is a great giveaway to a spectator. It really is. Off the top of my head, that's what I would suggest. But I think I'm going to do a bigger video on this, and I think I'm going to do a longer video. Obviously, Cube in Bottle is one of my favourite things to give away, and Ryland's favourite thing to give away as well when we're at gigs. I think every wedding I do, I give away a cube in a bottle. I really like that as a gift. I think that's really strong. But yeah, I'm going to think it through and I'm going to put a video out about that. But hopefully those are some ideas that you can start with. Okay, so the next question is from Mick Anderson, who says, "Hi Craig, I do Nick Einhorn Spooked. Amazing trick, and I've done it for donkey's years. My problem is Sorcery no longer produce the boss reels. Do you even know of any others other than the covert reel? Thanks." I don't. I mean, a couple of different things that you could do. First of all, contact Nick Einhorn. He might be able to know. He might have an idea of where you can get those boss reels from. That would be the first thought. Yeah, contacting Nick Einhorn. And then outside of that, I mean, you might be able to use Gravity. So Gravity is a programmable thread reel by Joel Miranda, and it's really good. It's a really good prop, and you can do so much with it. You would be able to do a sort of a version of Spooked very, very easily. That would probably work really well. So, but it's quite a high-priced item. It's not cheap because it's programmable and there's an awful lot you can do with it. But that might be an option. The other option when it comes to Joel Miranda is use Leviosa, because Leviosa, which is the deck, the Haunted Deck, it starts like Spooked with the Haunted Deck aspect, but then the deck floats into the hand, and it is very practical. I know that there's people that have said it's not practical, but if you put enough practice into it, it is. You look at Nick Lacapo, who does it beautifully in his show. You look at Killian O'Connor's performance of it on America's Got Talent All-Stars, and you can just see how strong this is as a prop. So both of those would, I think, work really well, to be perfectly honest. But outside of where you can get boss reels from now, I'm not too sure. You might want to also speak to Peter Nardi at Alakazam, because Pete knows everything as far as I'm concerned. You know, he really does. And he's very, very knowledgeable. So you might want to speak to Pete as well. Okay, so the next question is from CJLC010, who says, "Hi Craig, what coin bender would you recommend for someone who's never had one?" Well, I can answer this, but before I answer this, I will tell you it's becoming harder and harder to do a coin bend in a real world situation, because less people carry money around with them, carry coins around with them. You can find, if you've got enough people at a gig, you can find someone that's got coins in them or with them, but it's few and far between. Less people are carrying coins, which means it's more difficult to actually find somebody who can basically give you the coin. And when you're talking about a coin bend, you want to borrow the coins. I think the best type of coin bend is when you borrow a coin. I really do. With that being said, with that caveat, and that's a decision that you need to make, my favorite coin bender isn't available anymore. It's the Terminator wallet from Paul Wilson and Joe Pauper. And the Terminator wallet was great. It was a kind of a leather wallet, billfold style, a little bit like the Predator wallet. And what it did is you borrowed a coin, and you had them sign both sides of the coin, and you put the coin in your hand, and then you put the wallet on top, and you opened up the wallet to take out a £5 note or a bill, right? And you would give the bill to someone to examine, and it's very natural to just put the wallet there and open it up, but the action of opening up the wallet actually bent the coin. So when you put it onto your hand, the coin gets put into a coin bending device, and then you open it up, and it bent the coin automatically. It was that clean. And then you just put the wallet away, and it's done. Now the coin's bent, but you take it and you wrap it up in the bill, and you give them the bill to hold on to. That was exceptional. I don't think you can get it anymore. You might want to ask around, but I haven't seen one for a long time. The Quantum Bender was very, very popular for a long time, and it is a very good prop. But probably my favourite coin bender that's accessible is the CoinVex series, specifically CoinVex 3 by David Penn. And what I loved about that, now Dave, when he supplied the CoinVex gimmick, or at least CoinVex 2 and 3, he had a Sharpie marker, and the cap was part of the coin bend, and it had another gimmick which was designed to look like some coins in your pocket. And all I did is I actually bought 2 CoinVex 3s, and I just used 2 Sharpies. So in the action of carrying 2 Sharpies in my pocket, I have the ability to do a coin bend anytime, anywhere, because I've got everything I need with just those 2 Sharpies. And the routining that Dave had with the CoinVex gimmick was brilliant. The way that he actually got the bend was so well covered. It's probably the best coin bend. A lot of the pros that I know used Coinvexed. Nemid Phoenix, who I consider to be one of the best magicians in the world, he swore by Coinvexed. And I was speaking to Nemid about this the other day, and he said, you know, it's a shame that less people are carrying coins around with them because he doesn't get to do Coinvexed anywhere near as much as he did do. The nice thing is the Sharpies are normal, so if you're going to have a couple of Sharpies with you, you're ready to do this coin bend anytime, anywhere. So Coinvexed is still available, you can get it, but as I say, the one thing to bear in mind is it's less likely to be able to borrow a coin. The only other thing that I would say is Morgan Striebler many years ago brought out a mid-air coin bend. I think it was called Spun, and the whole idea is that you borrowed a coin, you had them sign it, and then you floated it in midair, and it floated back into your hand, and then when they gave it out, it was now bent. Really nice. Very different approach to bending it in real time, because with a coin bender, that's effectively what you're doing. You're bending it in real time. This was a different approach to it, which was very clever, but yeah, it's very old. Now, that might be the most practical way to go these days, to be honest, because he used his own coin, or you could use your own coin and have them sign the coin and then give them their coin away. That might be the way to go, actually. You know, you have some 10 pences, just stick some 10 pences in your pocket, and if somebody hasn't got some coins, you just say, well, I've got a bunch of 10 pences, take one. And maybe that's how you do the coin bend these days. I don't know. But food for thought. Okay, so the next question is from KP Magician ATL, who says, hi, Craig. Hey, hope you're well. Hope all's well. Yes, thank you. I'm thinking about getting a portable close-up table in Savant. The problem is I've never used a Savant and I have no idea what I'm looking for. Could you discuss some different features one may want for various situations and offer a few project suggestions? Thanks and congratulations on 20k subs. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody that's congratulated me about the 20,000. In terms of the table, or more specifically the Savant, I don't really use a Savant, to be honest. Ryland uses a Savant all of the time. A lot, unless he's doing walk around. A lot of the time when he's doing a show and he's doing close up, what he tends to do is he tends to set up a table and do it almost like as a bunko booth, and he's got a table that he can use to do that, and then he does the show a little bit later on. So, and he uses a Savant in the show as well quite a lot. I don't use a Savant, he does. I mean, the thing that you need to consider with a Savant is what you want to use it for, because you need to get a Savant that's perfect for the prop that you're using it for. Now, I believe that Ryland uses the TCC Savant. So TCC do a Savant, which is very simple, very basic. It's literally just a piece of card. Well, it's wrapped up with fabric, but you put it underneath a close-up pad and it just hangs down at the back of the table. He uses it for cups and balls, multiplying balls, coin routines, a whole bunch of different stuff that he does on stage. But in terms of, yeah, so you can have just a bag and you literally are just dropping things down and picking things up out of the bag. Absolutely. Not a problem. However, the other thing that you can do is you can have in the table or underneath the table, you can have various different holdouts. So when I was entering competitions back in the day, I had a Savant that was built into a close-up pad. So the Savant hung down, and I did use one many years ago, the Savant hold down. But then also built into the close-up pad were sections for $4 half, and there was also a section for a jumbo $half, or 2 jumbo $half. And that was for a routine that I used to do in competition. So there was a pack of cards in the actual Savant. I'd come forward to the table, show my hands empty, reach forward with this hand as this hand went and got the pack of cards, and I'd come up and I'd produce the pack of cards. I'd then have the cards shuffled, and that's it. There was also a section for four aces as well. There were no aces in the deck. I'm thinking back now. So the cards were shuffled, and I spread the cards face down on the table, and as I picked them up, I added the 4 aces to the bottom of the deck from a deck they shuffled. I then did a very quick production of 4 aces, and as I then picked up the 4 aces and put them into a row on the table, in the action of sliding them off the table, my thumb was going underneath and I was loading the dollars underneath each card. So in the action of, I've just produced the 4 aces, I pick up the coins, I put them down on the table, snap, now the 4 coins have appeared there. I did a couple of Matrix routines, and as the finale, I had 2 cards in this hand, 2 cards in this hand. I'd come back, produce the 2 jumbo coins, and then boom, I produced the 2 jumbo coins on the table, and then I picked them up and I went into Flurries by Gary Kurtz. So you can have holdouts underneath the table. If you want to hold out a packet of 4 cards, or even a deck, or coins, or jumbo coins, or something like that. It really just depends on what you're looking for. I would think that the TCC Savant is quite cheap, actually. So, you're not going to drop that much money on it. And it's actually a really good starter close-up Savant, or even stage Savant. But think about what you want. Think about what you want from a Savant. That you might have a routine in mind that you're going to use it for, and then make sure that that's all built into it. Okay, so the next question is from Illusionist Ed Zeus, who says, hey, I recently watched Joshua Jay's 6 Impossible Things, where he discussed testing tricks with a real audience before the actual shows. After these test shows, he would ask the audience to fill out a paper with questions about the tricks. Don't remember where, but in one of your videos, you talked about something similar. I'm currently developing a new show, and I'd like to do some test shows as well. Could you recommend some questions to ask the audience afterwards? Is there some resource where I could find information like this? I've never read anything like this before. I haven't heard Josh speak about this. I mean, it's a great idea if you're wanting to develop a show that you're taking very seriously. Like, this is going to be something that maybe you're touring with, or this is something that you're really wanting to be a signature thing for your brand. This might be something that you want to actually test out over a period of time. It's a good idea. I spoke about hiding in the bathroom after a show, which was a piece of advice given to me by my mentor, which was, if you want to know what people really felt about your show, and you really want to know the truth, straight after the show, go into the toilet, lock yourself in a cubicle, and listen to the conversations, because they are going to talk about what they actually thought, where if you went up and you asked them, you might not get that truthful reply, because people are just nice. Then if they thought your show was crap, they're not going to turn around and go, well, I thought you were crap, mate, to be honest. They're going to find the positive, right? So that's the suggestion that I gave on the channel a little while ago. But in terms of questions that you could ask if you were doing a test show, I've not thought about this before, but I suppose one question could be, what did you think of the length of the show? Did you think it was too short? Do you think it was too long? Do you think it dragged? Or was it the perfect length? If it's a show where there's 2 halves, which was your favourite half? Which, did either of the halves drag? What did you think of the timings? So try and get an idea of the timings. Second of all, maybe a question about, was there a particular part of the show that they found boring? And just openly ask the question. There's a lot of different routines in this show. Was there something that you didn't feel connected with you? Something that you didn't feel worked in the show? Or maybe you felt that there was a moment in the show where the quality of what I was trying to deliver went down. Maybe something like that would be good. Were there any routines that you think you can figure out what you saw? Because if you ask that question to everybody and like half of the audience come back with, well, I saw a fake thumb on your thumb when you were doing that particular routine, well, then that's too much of a coincidence. You might have a problem. So maybe asking if they have any idea how any of the routines work. That might be something. Maybe asking about the type of routines. Do you think there was enough routines to music? Do you think there was enough presentational routines? Stuff like that. Like what did they think of the selection of the material? Was it eclectic enough? I think that something like that might work as well. I'm trying to think of anything else that you might want to ask. Maybe just an open-ended question like, hey, do you feel like there is something that I could do to improve the show? Or if you were doing the show, what would you do to try and improve it? Or do you think it was perfect? Something like that. That's a great question. Asking, for their opinion on what would you do if you could improve the show. I'm just riffing this because I've never even thought about this as a concept before. And it's a great concept, by the way, but I've never thought about it as a concept. But maybe asking that question would be really good. Yeah, and could you see, I went to watch a show very, very recently, and one of the acts that I was really excited to watch, I couldn't hardly see them. The lighting was completely wrong. And I think I understand why the lighting was the way it was. It was because they were using black art at various different points. But, I was sitting in the audience. People didn't realize I was a magician. I was sitting with another magician. People didn't realize we were magicians. And so we could hear people talking. And people were saying, I can't really see him. I can't really see what he's doing. What's happening there? I'm not really too sure. So, and that's something that maybe you might not realize It's something that might fight you, because when you're thinking about lighting a show, you've normally got something very specific in mind with regards to the lighting. I'm going to light it this way because I'm going to light it this way because, and you don't think about the people in the audience watching it. So maybe consider that as well. Like, how's the lighting going to be? And ask the question, what was the lighting like? Maybe the choice of music. What did you think of the choice of music? Did it fit the theme of the show? Was it too upbeat? Was it not? Was it too loud? Was it too quiet? Were there any audio issues? Could you hear me clearly? Anything like that, I think, is really important. I'd be concerned about asking too many questions, because it's the same with marketing. It's the same with sales. If you ask somebody too many questions, a lot of the time they're just not going to bother filling it in. It's why you want to keep a contact form on your website as simple as possible, so that people can fill it in very, very quickly, and you're not having to get them to jump through 1,000 hoops. So whatever questions that you asked, I'd probably try and keep it really, really simple, and just ask the questions that you think are the most appropriate, and maybe even do like a multiple choice type thing. Like, did you think the lighting was okay? Yes, no. But great idea. Let me know how you got on with it. It's a wonderful idea. And maybe reach out to Josh J as well. If it's his concept, he might be able to offer you some advice as well. Okay, so the next question is from Nightwear91, who says, what are some awesome balancing suspension effects? Well, realistically, there's 3 that come to mind for me. The first one is I don't want to say it's the original, but Balance by Joshua J and Vanishing Ink. That's a great routine. It's kind of more of a parlor routine. You're never going to do this in sort of a walk around setting or something like that. It's more of a parlor routine, but it does look fantastic when you do it. And the story that Josh has with communicating with somebody in prison, it's a great story. So I'd say Balance is definitely up there. I think probably the most iconic and well-known balance routine at this point is On Edge by Angelo Carbone, which literally took the magic world by storm last year. The whole concept of making a card castle and then taking cards away and having that castle remain erect is just a very, very strong thing, and looks really, really good. It really does. So I'd say On Edge by Angelo Carbone deserves to be in that list. But again, it's more of a parlor type routine. It's not really a close-up thing. It's not really a close-up thing. It's more of a parlor or bar type effect, The other one, I don't know if this has been released yet. I know when I was speaking to him a few months ago, he was showing it me and he was saying, I'm planning on releasing it soon. But an awesome balance effect that's coming out relatively soon, I think, is by Joel Dickinson. So if you don't subscribe to him, you should do. Jump on his email list, because he showed me over Zoom a little while ago a balance routine which fooled the pants off me. And it was designed for close-up. So it was designed for mix and mingle. You didn't need to put anything on a table. Everything was just held in your hand, and he had this impossible balance. And I remember saying to him at the time, dude, that's incredible. I'd do that in a heartbeat. So Joel Dickinson has something coming out at some point, so look out for that. The only other thing that I would say is if you're a stage performer, the original chair suspension can be done as a balancing routine brilliantly. Excuse me. In fact, one of my favorite magicians is a guy called Russ Brown. And Russ Brown, who runs the House of Secrets, has a routine that he does. And the routine is he closes his show, or at least the first part of his show, with this chair suspension. And he gets a kid up from the audience and he does a chair suspension. But how he gets into it is brilliant. He brings out a wine holder, one of those impossible wine holders. So he brings out a bottle of wine and a wine holder. And he says, hey, you ever seen one of these? Well, look at this. This just falls down, right? This just falls down. But if I put the bottle of wine in it, it doesn't. And it's really magical. He does it on the stage, but then he goes into the audience and puts it on tables in front of people. And it's like this really cool thing, which you can get from shops. And he says, well, we're going to take that and we're going to up it to the next level using somebody from the audience. And that's his lead in to his chair suspension, which I thought was brilliant. So, those are probably the ones that spring instantly to mind when I think about balance routines. There's probably more, but those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Okay, so the next question is from Bryzelfia, who says, hi, Craig. Hope you and everyone at Magic TV are doing well. We're okay, thanks, mate. 2 questions for you. And the first question is, what inspired you to create the Netrix? It was really born out of a need more than anything else, to be perfectly honest. And what I mean by that is I have a bunch of routines. Most of the stuff that's on the Netrix has been created in the last 10 or 15 years. So I left the Magic community for a long time. And while I was away, I carried on creating notebooks, pages full of routines and tricks and so on and so forth. And a lot of the physical products that you're seeing coming out now are routines that I created when I was away from the Magic community. But there's a lot of stuff that I've created that wouldn't really be a physical product. It wouldn't be a physical release. And I didn't want to do like 1 million downloads. I didn't think that would be fair on anybody. So the Netrix was designed as an outlet for ideas that I have and concepts that I have that I think serve the Magic community, but they're not really the sort of thing that you could bring out as a physical product. And it was a platform that allowed me to put that stuff out there. That's basically what the Netrix was designed for. And then as we were thinking about creating it for launch, it was kind of a case of, oh, we could get this person involved. We could get this person involved. Oh, we could do a sleight school. We could do business advice. We could do this. We could do that. We could have weekly virtual magic clubs. We could do this. We could do that. Oh, it wouldn't be amazing if we did this. And all of that is built into it, and that's wonderful, and that's all well and good. But the original concept was to have a place where I could put hundreds of tricks, and there are more tricks on the Netrix. I wanted a place where there would be more tricks than people could even watch. Just like, it's mind-blowing the amount of stuff that's on the Netrix. And that is what we've achieved. There's a ridiculous amount. We have to keep coming up with categories because there's so much on there. But obviously it's become more than that now. It's become more than the sum of its parts. But that was what inspired me to create it. I wanted an outlet that I was fully in control of. Okay, another question from Bryce Elthia, who says, if you could only choose one of your Alakazam coin sets to carry with you for the rest of your life, which one are you taking and why? I would say it would have to be Nightshade. And the reason is, and it's difficult to decide because they're all amazing. But these days, when I do close-up magic, I'm typically in an environment where I have no table in front of me. I'm either doing sort of banquet tables or I'm doing sort of mix and mingle in groups. And I don't have a place where I can do tabled work. And although there's a lot of routines that are designed for walk around in the Mirage coin set, there's more in the Nightshade coin set. And Mirage is fantastic. I do perform Mirage all the time. And honestly, I think one of the best coin things that I've ever developed was the International Reverse Coin Matrix that's on the Mirage coin set. But from where I perform right now, I think the Nightshade coin set is the coin set that's the most conducive for the environment that I perform in, if you can understand where I'm talking from. So I'd say the Nightshade coin set, although, you know, I have all of them in my coin set and I'm in my my close-up case, and I'm never going to remove them. I do them all, and I love them all. So it's very difficult to choose. But if I had to choose one, I'd say the Nightshade coin set. Okay, so the next question is from Sean Undertrack, who says, question, this October I'll be making my first visit to London. Unfortunately, I'll only be there for a few days. Can you please recommend any must-see magical places to visit? I have been emailing the good folks at Alakazam, and they even offered to pick me up from the train station. Can you suggest any other shows, shops, or anything else I should try and catch? I would love to visit the Magic Circle, but I don't know the process for making a visit there. Thanks for all your hard work. Okay, so in terms of the Magic Circle, they meet on a Monday evening. You can go to the Magic Circle in a Monday evening as a guest, as long as you are have an invitation and from a member, and that member goes with you. So, for example, if you know somebody who's in the Magic Circle, and they can literally just turn up with you, and they can say, "Hey, I'm Craig, as you know. Here's my membership card. This is my guest." And I think you pay £10 or something. And then you can go in, you can hang out in the club room, you can go and look at the library, you can go and look at all of the fun stuff, and you'll get to see a lecture and hang out, and that's great. And hey, if I'm available, I don't know when you're going there, but if I'm available, I'm more than happy to take you to the Magic Circle as my guest. No problem at all, as long as I'm available. But if not, I could definitely put you in touch with a member who could. No problem at all. Now, in terms of magic shops, Alakazam is only like a 25-minute train ride away. So you can go to, I think it's Marylebone, or King's Cross, and you get a 25-minute train, and you're in Ashford, and like they said, they could even pick you up from the train station, which is awesome. And then Alakazam is amazing. It's just a wonderful place to go and visit. While you're in London, you should go to the International Magic Studio. It's the only magic shop left in the London area, because Alakazam is actually in Kent, so it's outside of London. But inside inner London, we used to have quite a few, but now we've only got International, and it's very different to Alakazam. It's a treasure trove. You're going to find something that you didn't even know existed. There's some fantastic of it. If you go and see the interview that I did with Mark Elsden and Martin from International, you'll see just some of the stuff that's in there that you've probably never heard of before. So International Magic is worth going to. Definitely head to Covent Garden and go to Magic Corner. There's busking all over London, but if you want to see some incredible acts, definitely Covent Garden is the place to go. You'll also see a lot of magicians hanging out there a lot of the time, but there's always magic shows on the Magician's Corner, like literally 25-minute magic shows every sort of half an hour ago. There's a lot of other live entertainment there as well, but you are going to see a lot of magic, and there's some amazing magic. Some really great stuff. Nathan Earl is the person to speak to. He is very high up on the Magic Circle and also regularly performs at Covent Garden, so he can tell you the best times to go. Just connect with him on Facebook. He's a really nice guy. But Nathan Earl, you should reach out to Nathan Earl. While you're there, there's a little magic shop, the Magic Cave. It's like a little sort of market store. Definitely worth checking out. You go to Hamleys and go check out some of the magic demonstrators in Hamleys from Marvin's Magic. A lot of them are professional magicians or semi-professional magicians, and they do a fantastic job of demonstrating magic and are super friendly as well. And it's only in Oxford Circus, I think it is, somewhere like that. So that's definitely worth going to Hamleys. Those are the places that you really want to kind of go and check out, really, as far as I'm concerned. So that'll give you a few places to go. But don't forget, it's not just London. It's not just London. It's not just magic. You can go and see a whole bunch of stuff in London. If you're there for the first time, it's a magical city. Just embrace it. There's so much to see and do. In terms of shows, I see you saw shows. The best thing to do is, of course, obviously, it very much depends on the dates that you're going. West End Magic by Wayne Trice and Oliver Tabor, they perform there quite regularly. And there's other shows that take place, quite regularly as well. My advice would be to, Google it. Google the dates that you're going and Google magic shows, and anything that's on will come up. And let me know what they are, and I'll tell you if they're any good. Okay, so the next question is from GRGRYL. Gurgle. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Craig. I've recently memorized mnemonica, and I'm really enjoying your videos on Mem Deck routines. I remember you challenging Matt to learn the stack in one of your videos 3 months ago. Just curious if he's learnt the stack or if there are any videos of him performing Mem Deck routines. He's not there yet. I think he's learnt the first 15 cards or something like that. He's very, very slow. He will turn around to you and say he's very, very busy, which doesn't make any sense when it comes to learning mnemonica, because you don't really need to physically sit there and do anything. The whole idea of learning mnemonica is you can do it while you're doing other stuff. So I'm just constantly in my head thinking through, because my brain doesn't work like it used to, unfortunately. And if I don't constantly think about what my Mem Deck stack is, I'll forget it. So I need to go 40, 4 of spades. Yeah, a lot of the time I'll just go, right, where are the 4 aces? Okay, ace of clubs is 43, ace of hearts, so on and so forth. Yeah, he's nowhere near learning it. I'm sure. I think he doesn't really care that much because he's got Stebbins, and I think he loves Stebbins so much he's not really motivated to learn it. But I would love to see him learn it. I just think he's half-arsing it at this point, to be honest. Okay, so the next question is from JustJosh483. Question for you, Craig. Do you know any good sources for billiard ball manipulation routines that don't use the gimmick? It doesn't necessarily need to be a multiplying balls pot, as I imagine it would be very difficult without the gimmick. Just any routine using a billiard ball manipulation. I don't really do billiard ball manipulation. Ryland does. For sure Ryland does, but I don't do billiard ball manipulation at all. Ryland uses a variation of the... Ryland uses a variation of Mark James's routine. So Ryland does basically the Mark James routine with a few bits and pieces himself, but it uses the gimmick. He finishes with changing the ball into a silk, and then changing the silk into a cane, which is really nice, but he uses the gimmick. He's got other routines he's working on as well. I'll ask Ryland for you, because honestly, I don't really know the answer to that. I've never done much in the way of billiard ball manipulation in the past, to be honest. It's not my thing. I'm not that sort of magician. It'd look odd for me to do that. But I think it looks beautiful when Ryland does it. I love it. I really do. Levant, I know, is one of the best when it comes to billiard balls, and Bon Lee has some incredible work on billiard balls. So maybe have a look at Levant's work and Bon Lee's. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a video now of Ryland performing the multiplying balls. So we'll play this little video. This is from a show that he did last week. It was in a, he was booked to be in a town centre, and they had a custom built stage, and he was doing a show there. Well, we all were. He was doing the majority of it, to be honest, but we were doing illusions as well. But have a look at this. This is the Mark James routine with a couple of additions from Ryland. It's one of my favourite routines with multiplying balls, to be honest. I think it's so magical. And then I'll try and get back to you. I'll see if I can find out some more information. It's not something I do, I'm afraid. Okay, so the next question is from Mick Anderson, who says, "Hi again, Craig. I have the Nightshade coin set." Good choice. "Is it possible to buy a spare gimmick coin, or would I have to buy another full set? Loving the set. I don't see me using anything else now for doing my coin work." Great. Also looking forward to seeing what you have in store as far as combining Mirage, Apparition and Nightshade together. Thanks. Oh, I have all 3 sets. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Mick, I would ask Alakazam for that, because honestly, I don't sell the sets myself. You can't find them on my website. I don't sell them. That's an Alakazam thing. I imagine they could sell you a spare coin. Not a problem, but I wouldn't know. It's probably Alakazam that you need to speak to about that. But they're very receptive about this sort of thing, and I know their customer service is amazing. So if you speak to Alakazam and explain the situation to them, I'm sure they'll be able to help you. And regarding the academy where I'm doing all 3, I think it's slated for July. I'm going to be at Alakazam in July, so hopefully that's when we're going to be running the academy as well. Okay, so the next question again is from Mick Anderson, who says, "Hi Craig, I saw a device at Blackpool that was something James Bond would use. It was on the Vanishing Ink stand. It's used for firing a coin into a glass out of a supposedly playing card case. The guy demoing it said it would be out later this year. Since trying to look for it further, it appears to have been out for a while under the name Emergence. I have read elsewhere it has been coming out for a few weeks, supposedly. Did you see it? What's your thoughts on it? And do you think it will be released again this year? I really hope it gets released. It looks bloody damn awesome. Keep doing what you're doing with the channel. You do an excellent job. Thank you." I bought one at Magic Live last year, actually. And you know what? I've had so much going on this year, and so the problem is I have to learn so much Magic for the various different review shows, and I knew that I wasn't going to be reviewing that anytime soon because people couldn't buy it when I bought it, that it's literally been sitting on the side. I haven't done anything with it yet. I feel terrible, but I haven't actually done anything with it yet. It's just been sitting there. I know at some point I will get around to doing something with it, because I agree, when I saw it being demoed, it looked amazing. I imagine it's going to be a big staple of Vanishing Ink stuff because it's such a great prop. But I can't really help you much beyond that. I mean, the best thing to do, I would say, would be to contact Vanishing Ink and just send an email or go on their live chat and just say, "Hey, when's this trick out?" And I think they might be able to help you, but it's a good one. Definitely a good one. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, who says, "Do you do the cocktail by Gustavo Raley?" I did do for a long time, and it's something that I've suggested that Ryland do in his show. It's very good. It's like the Sands of Sahara, but more practical, to be honest. Many years ago, I did the Sands routine, and it's just so messy. It really is. It's such a messy trick. This is kind of an interesting take on it. And I haven't done it for a long time. Can't even remember it that well, to be honest. But I remember the effect was great. It's fantastic for kind of a stage style performance. I think Ryland's learning it at the moment, Divishan. So what I'll do is I'll ask him. Maybe I can get some rehearsal footage of him and do like a review or something. Maybe put it in one of the review shows. That'd probably be the best bet, right? Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, and another question. Oh, this must be a second question I didn't see. Let's go to the first one first. "Hi, Craig. Can you share your thoughts on giving fake explanations on how a trick works as part of a performance? Some magicians use these as a comical element, e.g. the metal melts and then the rings link. Others seem to use it as misdirection, for example, saying it's hypnosis when it clearly isn't. Can such fake explanations improve a performance? I think it's really down to the individual, to be honest, Adrian. I think it's just down to the individual. I think you need to ask yourself what your performing character is. You need to ask yourself the style of magic that you want to perform, how you want people to perceive your magic. So, for example, I do some pickpocketing. I'm not a great pickpocket. I can very easily get someone's watch. But beyond that, I'm kind of a bit rubbish. However, I come across as much better pickpocket than I actually am because I have quite a few pseudo pickpocketing routines. On my Penguin Live, I did a pseudo pickpocketing routine that used a Himba wallet and a extreme burn gimmick. And I have people genuinely believing that I'm using pickpocketing to switch the contents of two wallets. Now, for me, my character is that of this kind of almost this chancer, this somebody who, you know, doesn't take himself too seriously, always trying to get one up over people. And for me, presenting that as, hey, I'm going to show you how pickpocketing works. I'm going to show you how I can take money off you without you even realizing it. That's a more interesting hook line than watch these receipts as they turn into dollar bills. How amazing is that? Oh my God, I'm a miracle worker. I prefer that presentation of doing that sort of pseudo pickpocketing style routine. That works for me, and that's kind of what you're talking about, right? I do a pseudo hypnosis thing, very tongue-in-cheek, where I say, "Hey, I'm gonna explain how it works." When I walked over to the table, I hypnotized you into thinking this is a normal deck of cards, and then I go into a wild card style routine with a full deck. Which again works, but it's done very tongue-in-cheek. I don't think people don't believe I've really hypnotized them. It's kind of more of a jokey style thing. But, you know, you look at Matt. Matt is constantly going on about how he can influence people, how he can take people's memories. One of the things that he does all of the time is the Jay Sankey memory loss routine. And he actually has people believing that he's taken away their memories, and they're freaked out over it. I've seen them. He makes people believe that he can really just study their facial tics and their body language, and he can tell them anything that he wants to know. So really, it's fine. It just depends on the individual, right? If that works for you, if that presentational point of view works for you, then go for it. If it doesn't work for you and you don't want to go down that pseudo hypnosis, that pseudo explanation style way of presenting things, then don't. The beautiful thing about magic is you kind of do what you think is best, right? So for me, it works to a limited degree in certain situations, but to you it might not. Just, you know, kind of see if it works, and that's probably the best advice I can give you. Okay, so the next question is Hankster27, who says, "Hi Craig, what did you think of Super Sucker winning the Penguin Magic Trick of the Year? What did you vote for in all the categories?" I can't remember what the categories are. Is there any way that I can figure it out? Let's see. Penguin Magic. They have got a section on there. I'll tell you exactly who I voted for. There we go. Okay, so who did I vote for? Book of the Year, I voted for Very Hush Hush by John Bannon. And the winner was Letters from Juan, so who I voted for didn't win. Deck of the Year, I voted for the Wonka playing cards, which are the only ones that I'd seen. And the winner was the Butterfly playing card, so, you know, what I voted for didn't win there. The Close-Up Trick of the Year, I voted for Demi Deck by Angelo Carbone. That's what won, which is great. The Electronic Trick of the Year, I voted for Dragon Scale. I'm going to be doing a review of Dragon Scale at some point. I voted for Dragon Scale, and Dragon Scale did win. Ryland voted for X-Light, as you can imagine. Parlor Trick of the Year, I voted for On Edge by Angelo Carbone, and Hook by Eric Ross won. Mentalism Trick of the Year, I voted for Discovery by Spooky Nyman. It was between Discovery and Executive Pad, but I went for Discovery. That didn't win. Predictions won by Roddy McGee, which is an amazing trick. I don't think it's actually mentalism. It kind of is, It's not really. But, whatever. It won. Good job. Discovery is what I voted for. Money Trick of the Year. Super Sucker won. I voted for... what did I vote for? Yeah, Liquid Cash, I think I voted for. Yeah, Liquid Cash is what I voted for. I wasn't too sure which to vote for in that category. I do like Super Sucker. Ryland swears by it. It's not really my style. I don't do it. Doesn't mean it's not good. I really like it. But Ryland does it an awful lot. Card Trick of the Year. I voted for... What did I vote for? It was Pow by Eric Casey. That's what I voted for. But Envelope 2.0 won. Deserved winner. I'm not going to say they were wrong there. And Magic Creator of the Year, I voted for Roddy McGee, I believe. And obviously I won that. Yay. And Trick of the Year was Super Sucker. So there you go. Trick of the Year was Super Sucker. Let's get back to my things. There you go. So that is how I voted in the Penguin Trick of the Year category. Okay, so the next question is from Robin Fisher, who says, thanks for your advice, Craig. You're more than welcome. I have one question. What's the difference between Mark Mason's color-changing cards effect by and Abra by Jordan Victoria? You're talking about Quartet by Mark Mason and Abra by Jordan Victoria. I already have Abra and the method looks kind of the same. I don't know what Abra is. I know Quartet is very, very clever. I've done it a few times. It gets great reactions. I can't really help you with with Abra. I haven't seen it. So I don't know, unfortunately. What is it? You tell me and I'll tell you if it's similar. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, another question. Over the last few months, I've become quite good at splitting cards. What are some interesting do-it-yourself card gaffes? Well, I mean, double faces. You can make custom double faces very, very easily if you can split cards. I can't split cards to save my life. But you can create very, very interesting double faces. Custom-made double backers, which are really useful. I love double backers. I love double faces. You can create those very, very easily. That might be a video. I think I'm going to do a longer video about that. Best uses for splitting a card. I think that would be a really useful video to do. So I'm not going to answer it now because I think that I want to give some thought into this before I answer it. But I want to say thank you for the amazing question because that's really motivated me to come up with a longer video about that subject. Divishan Magician says, did you look at the at That Escalated Fast by Harapan Ong and if it uses crimps or not? I'll be honest, I bought it and I haven't looked at it yet, Divishan. I'm so sorry. I've not been with it this last couple of weeks. I've been very distracted. So I will get to it. As soon as I'm off this, I'll quickly have a look at it. And then next week, I'll let you know. Okay. Okay, so the final question today is from David Johnson, who says, how are you feeling, Craig? Are you feeling okay? I can see that there's been some stuff going on the Magic Cafe recently, and I just wanted to check in. That's really nice of you, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. It's been. I was speaking to somebody the other day, a friend of mine, and I said it's a little bit like. It's a little bit like being a boxer. My dad was a boxer for years. And it's a little bit like being a boxer at the end of like the 10th round and you've just had someone beating you to a pulp. I've just felt this last month that I've been against the ropes an awful lot, if that kind of makes sense. I just feel like I'm always having to defend myself on one situation or another. It's been not fun, to be honest, this last month with a few different things. It seems everything I do, I end up either annoying somebody or just getting into an argument. The superimposed thread on the Magic Cafe just was strange and whatever. And then the Mirage. I'm filming this now. I know that they've deleted some comments off it, but the Mirage Deck Project thing on the Magic Cafe, there were some very weird comments made. It's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with sometimes, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I got into an online argument. Some of you will know with another YouTuber a few weeks ago, and things were said. I'm not talking about that now, but off the back of that, he's he said some stuff which is just untrue, and if it was, he should have just gone to the police. I don't want to talk about it, but I did a video replying to him. But off the back of that, it's been a very difficult month. I've got a big file of printouts of people that have said very mean things, actually, filling in the contact form on my website and saying some very horrible stuff about me and my wife, my kids. I'm fine. It's hard because making these videos is not easy. It takes up a lot of my time, and I do it because I like to help. You know, I really try to help, and that's why I make these videos. And I know from the hundreds of comments that I get that I am helping. I know that you know, there's people that are. I know there's people that are, you know, performing or entering competitions or whatever because of the videos I've put up. But to make videos like this, you have to have a certain frame of mind. You have to have a certain positive outlook. And because it's hard work, man, doing all these videos, it's a difficult thing to do. I make a lot of them, and always trying to come up with new content and new ways of actually presenting this stuff to people. And you know, it's difficult to make videos like this when you kind of just constantly kind of got this overwhelming, just like blah, kind of makes you. I kind of feel like I did when I left the Magic community after Red. It's kind of how I feel at the moment, and I kind of wonder sometimes why I wonder why I carry on doing it. And I sat down with my wife and I said, well, you know, why am I doing this? And she turned around to me and she said, because you love it. You love the Magic community. And I said, yeah, I do. I love the Magic community. And she said, you love creating magic and you love making videos and you love helping people. And she said to me, she said, I see your eyes light up when you get a message from somebody saying that, hey, you've done this gig, and it went amazing because of your advice. And I went, yeah, that's kind of the reason why I do this. And she went, well, that's why you make these videos. And I said, I know, but everywhere I turn, I feel like I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I'm very people have said it before, haven't they? I'm like Marmite. You either love me or you hate me. I'm not loved by everybody. I know that there's some people in this community that really don't like me. And I know it's the minority, but they're the ones that fill in the contact forms and send the emails and say the stuff that just makes you feel really shit about yourself. And I just need to learn to just put those to my mind. Somebody on Facebook said, you like CM Punk? I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I have ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was in secondary school, I've loved wrestling. I just fell in love with it. I think I knew that it was kind of scripted very early on, kind of realised that very early on. But I still love the theatre of it. I love the pantomime of it. I love everything about wrestling. There's nothing that I like more than sitting there and just, you know, chilling out and it kind of... And somebody said you like CM Punk, you know, and people either love you or they hate you, and you're very polarizing. And if people hate you, they have no problem saying how much they hate you. And hey, that's true. That's true. Look, I can't change who I am. I just wish that some of the people that say stuff about me would get to know me, or at least speak to me. That's the weird thing, right? Sarah that said this the other day. I've got literally a file about this big of contact forms that have been filled in that we're having to keep for various different reasons that I can't talk about. But she said every single one of these contact forms that comes through, they're fake emails. They hard bounce back. They make up a fake email to send a contact form. She said on the same page with the contact form, there's a phone number, there's an email address. People could contact you by email or they could phone you, but they choose not to. They choose to send a contact form and say this stuff anonymously. And, you know, she's like, that's the problem, you know, with when you put yourself out there, you're gonna have, you know, people that don't like you for whatever reason, and you're very accessible and it's very easy to get in touch with you and so on and so forth. And I love magic, man. I love magic. I love magic so much. I really do. I love this community and I love magic, and it's why I do what I do. It would be easier for me not to do it, but I love magic, and it's just been hard this last month ever since it's been hard. It's been difficult. It's been frustrating, and I've said to Sarah a few times, like, maybe this community would be better off without me. Maybe Magic TV was set up. Originally, one of the big reasons I set up Magic TV was because I wanted to. It was lockdown. Nobody was sitting around in their houses, and I just wanted to spend time doing something that I thought people would find value in. And everyone said, "Oh, you should do a review show again." So I thought, well, you know, let's do it. Let's do it with Rhinand, and let's do a review show. And it went completely out of hand, and ended up getting to where we are right now. You know, and that's why it was originally set up. And you know, I said maybe there is not a need for Magic TV anymore. And she said, look, if you ever want to stop doing this, stop doing it because you don't want to do it anymore, not because other people tell you to stop doing it. She said those people that don't like you, they're generally basing it on the videos that you've made in the past when you ranted and you raved. And even then, I had a reason for doing those. I haven't done one of those in a long time. Try to put out a lot of positive content now, just positive content. Look, I'm rambling. Stupid Greg. I'm fine. Thank you very much. I love this community, and the stuff that gets on my nerves sometimes, but I just want to carry on putting the best content out that I can. And if I release a trick, releasing a trick that I know people will love. And even if you don't like it, because we can't like everything, right? It's impossible. But even if you don't like it, you can still see that I've put my heart and soul into it. That's my goal. And if you don't like me, I'm really sorry. If I've done something to upset you, I'm genuinely sorry, and that wasn't my intention. And if you really hate me, really hate me, really hate me, pick up the phone and talk to me. I might be able to get you to change your mind. Tell me why you hate me. Maybe I can fix it. But generally, in answer to your question, I'm okay. You know, I've been on this planet for 48 years now. It's a long time. I'm coming up to 50. I'm an old man. Well, I'm not. Life begins at 50, I've been told. But I've been on this planet for a long time, and I've had some incredible highs. I've had some incredible lows, and I'm experienced enough to know that it's not riding high all of the time. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. I really do. And I can't help but tell people how I feel about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm fine. I just, I've been in a bit of a crappy place this last month, but I'm good. I'm fine. And things will get even better. Thank you for asking. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Now, if you haven't already checked it out, go check out the Talk Magic from yesterday. Killian O'Connor, the boy wonder himself, who set the world on fire on Britain's Got Talent. His interview went up yesterday, and this evening we've got a review show special, so look out for that. Also, there's Magic Live at 6 o'clock today. There was a Magic Live yesterday. Bunch of stuff. If you want to know more about the Mirage Deck project, Friday I put up an expose of the Mirage Deck project, so there's a lot to see on Magic TV. But if you want to see something else, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Craig, and this is Magic TV.